If you have been thinking about turning your hobby into a brand or into a business, then this video is for you. I will be listing 5 things that I've learned since I decided to turn my crochet hobby into a brand called Mihankushea. Grab a coffee, grab a popcorn, and let's get right into it. A little background story about me if this is your first time seeing me. Hi, my name is Masandra and I am the owner of Mihankushea. I have been crocheting for a long time. But professionally for about 5 years. I started back during the COVID and we're now in 2025. So it's actually officially 5 years, which is so amazing. So I own a crochet brand. You probably have seen me on your Facebook, Instagram, or maybe one of your socials. If you haven't seen me yet, it's fine. There's no problem. Hi and welcome to my channel and I'm super excited to walk you guys through what I've learned so far since I started doing this professionally. There are no orders in this point. I'm literally just listing whatever come to mind. I do have a note, so if you see me looking down on my phone, that's because that's where my note is and I need to go back and cross check. Your hobby becomes a work, and I think you guys already know what I mean by that. The fun that you had while you were doing this as a hobby kind of limits itself. Not to say like you don't have any fun after you turn this into a business, because I definitely have fun, especially when I make pieces that I'm super proud of. It just that brings back the fun. But I feel like with all the fun aside and with all this being a hobby, or with you actually enjoying and liking the fact that you've turned this into a business, or being proud of the fact that you've turned this into a business, there are going to be some days where you just don't like doing it. And I think it's the same thing for everything. Even if you have a 9 to 5, and even if you love your job, you love the pay, there are going to be days where you have to show up, regardless of if you want to or if you don't want to. I think I'm not saying in any way that you need to turn every hobby into a job. Obviously, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just this video is obviously for people who wants to turn their crochet hobby or whatever hobby they have into a job. If you don't want to, that is perfectly fine. I don't think everybody should turn their hobby into a job. There are so many other things you can just keep to yourself and just enjoy the moment so you can keep the fun while you do it. Because again, like I said, the moment you decide to turn this into a business, the moment you want to make an income off something, it literally just sucks out the fun out of it a little bit and it becomes less fun in the process of it. When it comes to this main point, I'm actually basically focused on handmade items, because this can be crochet and this can be knitting or any other thing that is handmade that costs time. Making money from it is super slow. I think for my case, no, I can't speak for everybody else, because I feel like the reason why I decided, one of the main reasons why I decided to turn this into a business actually involves money. I'm not gonna sit here and act like I love crocheting, don't get me wrong, but one of the reasons obviously why I decided to get into it, because I saw that there was a possibility for me to make income. So that's the reason why this point is going to be a little bit on both sides, because I've been on the side where I've made the money and I've been on the side where I'm struggling to make the money. So I've seen both sides and my point of view is coming from both ends. Back to the story. So again, I did mention that I started crocheting professionally during the COVID. And during that COVID, by the grace of God, I was so blessed to have a viral moment. My content went online on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook, and I was even on TV at one point. So I was super blessed to have that as a breakthrough point for my crochet business. So again, with a point of slow money, it comes from that. So that was the reason. So I was like, oh, I can actually do this as a full-time job. Because in my mind, I thought it was going to be like that for the rest of my crochet journey and my business. But mind you, it wasn't like that. Like everything turned to the opposite way. So you can experience both, of course, but I feel like when I say money is slow, you have to be very conscious of the fact that you can have good months and bad months. Again, I've had those 2 months and I'm still going through it. And I feel like most of the things that I've learned, especially in this journey with crochet, one of the most important thing when it comes to income is to be able to divide your source of income. At the point when I went viral, the only thing I was mainly focused on was custom pieces. And don't get me wrong, they are cool. You can make them. You can obviously make a good amount of income from that as well. But I feel like you have to be able to just divide your source of income. Currently, at the moment, custom pieces are not even my main source of income. They're literally like the least source. Like it's literally down on the list when it comes to my source of income. So as a crochet artist, or as somebody wants to turn their hobby into a business, you want to make sure that you don't have just one source of income, that you have different streams of income that is coming in. I currently have custom pieces. Again, like I said, that's the last one on the list. I have crochet patterns, I have crochet tutorials on the YouTube channel, of course. So, and you should just be able to just widen your source of income. So even though it's slow on one side, you have something else coming in on the other side. Because if you only rely on one source of income, I'm sure you're not going to be able to sustain yourself with that with that one source. Because at the end of the day, it's really unpredictable. You never know what's coming in and what is going to come in every month. You can't say, oh, I'm going to make maybe 1,000 euros every month and that's it for the rest of the year. Like, you cannot predict. One month you make 1,000 and then the next month you probably make nothing. So if you have different source of income, you will be able to just broaden your income. So you know, if there's nothing coming in on this end, at least B is going to give me something and C is going to give me something, and together you can be able to sustain yourself and sustain the business as well. And that leads me to my next point. Social media is a full-time job on its own. Like, we are obviously in the time and age where it's just part of us, and as a business owner, you have to make sure that you're using every different platform to be able to just show yourself out there and put yourself forward and be able to just tell people what you do and show them what you do. So you have to be able to just, again, like I said, talent is not enough. Like, you can be the most talented person, that someone who is even maybe less talented than you can probably be where you want to be, just because talent doesn't take you places. I don't want to say don't be talented. Obviously, you need to have something to give, but at the same time, just depending on your talents will not cut the chase. It will not cut it out for you, because we are currently in the space where everybody does everything. Like, everybody crochets, especially in the crochet community. I feel like sometimes I scroll on social media or TikTok or Instagram and I see people who are, I'm like, damn, how did you make that? Like, I get the fact that I'm talented, but there's so many people out there who are also talented. And I also want you guys to know that when God gives you an idea, like, I personally feel like it gives the same idea to other people as well. So it's not just about you being talented, because it knows you can do it. So it's gonna give you the idea. But mind you, you're not the only one who's giving the idea. It's giving the idea to someone else. So you can have the talent to make it, not like you cannot make it. But if you delay everything, not just because you think, oh, I can make it later, I'll make it another day. Someone else has already grabbed the opportunity and then they are going to make it. And then they become the creator, or the, what's the word, like the designer of that particular design. Because why? You had the idea, but you did not take it. You depended on, you were literally like, I'm gonna do it, postponing it. Like, you were not productive enough to bring that idea to life, and someone else grabbed the opportunity. Maybe they are even less talented than you are, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter how talented you are if you're not going to just show out for yourself and show the world what you actually have, and also be able to strategize and also find different ways to to show your talent, to be able to market yourself out there. So again, social media is an entire job on its own. So I feel like you have to be able to just be there. Like, if there are so many different ways you can show up. I personally, I've always been someone who likes social media, so I'm not afraid to show myself out there. But I know not everybody is comfortable with that. So if you're not comfortable with that, there are so many ways. There are people who have manicures. There are some days when I don't feel so confident, I use my manicure to show my work, or I use maybe different ways to show your work. There are so many different ways that you can use. So it doesn't always have to be your face. It doesn't always have to be you. You can use voiceovers to do that as well. You can use music, which I do all the time. So there are different ways to show your talent and be able to just bring people to get to know you. So do not just rely on your talent. Obviously, it's super important, but you also have to learn so many things and keep improving your skills. If you're good at crocheting, it's fine, but you also need to learn so many other different things on the side. I always say, whenever I talk to my friends, I tell them, like, one of the biggest things I struggle with, I've been doing this for a long time. One of the biggest things I struggle with is selling. I can crochet, I can design. Like, if it comes to designing, I don't even sweat. But when it comes to marketing, I don't know how to. I honestly am not the best at it, and I know that. So it's nice to just, if you want to learn, obviously, if you cannot afford to hire someone to do marketing for you, but you can also learn, then do it. Those are things that I personally need to work on. So you have to be able to just have the talent, very important, but also think about the fact that you have to find a way to sell your items and show the world what you can do. Because if you don't show the world, we are not going to come into your living room and see what you can do. Because at the end of the day, we don't live with you. We cannot come into your house and tell you, show us what you can do, unless you open yourself up to us and show us what you can do. Then we can see what you can do. And that also brings me back to the next point, which is you have to stay consistent, or else people will forget about you. They will forget again, because like I said, every time you come online, I personally, every time I go online, there's someone else I've never seen in my life that is doing crocheting. I'm like, I'm blown away. If you have to plan. I think I don't want to just sound, but I think I'm super consistent. I've been super consistent with something, but that's just my nature. I'm someone, if I put my mind to something, honestly, there's no going back. Even though it's times when I post my videos, they don't do well, I still show up. I still show out, because it's not just about the audience, it's also about me. Like, if I tell myself I'm going to show up for myself, I am going to show up for myself, because if I don't do it, they are not going to show up for you. Like, your audience is not going to show up for you if you can't even keep the promises you made to yourself. So it's nice to have talent and all that, but you also need to make sure you back up that talent with consistency. Don't procrastinate. Show up for yourself, because you should, because if you don't, nobody else will. So this point also actually aligns with the previous point. You basically are everything. Like, you are the designer, you are the social media manager, you are the customer service, you are the editor, you are the pattern writer, you are the hairstylist, you are the makeup artist, you are the stylist. You're literally everything. So you want to know before getting into it that you have to wear so many different hats. But with that being said, you can also outsource these other things. Like, so I personally currently outsource my pattern writer. So I used to write my patterns back in the days, and it used to take me days to be able to write it, and then I have to test it afterwards. And it was also a lot of time and also a lot of effort, and sometimes I was not even in the states to rethink my pattern and think about, what did I do there? What did I do there? How am I going to size these items into different sizes? So I was so super lucky to be able to find a pattern writer who writes my pattern for me now, and that takes off so many workload for me. So now when I design my pattern, I can move to the next pattern without thinking about writing a pattern, because I already outsourced that. So you can wear so many different hats, but you also want to be able to outsource this. I obviously know not everybody can afford to outsource at the moment. You probably don't have money to pay pattern testers or pattern writers at the moment, or you cannot even afford an editor right now, or you cannot even afford a social media manager. All those things I know, but I also want you guys to know that it's fine to ask for help, even though you wear all these ads. You can also make time to just ask for help. If you have to pay someone to do it, because then it gives you way more room to be able to just stay creative and put your mind and your focus on the things that you like and the things that you enjoy doing. That way you also avoid getting burnout, because sometimes I used to get burnout because I would design an item and then I have to edit the video, edit the tutorial, I have to write the pattern afterwards, and it also just slows down your entire business, because it probably takes you an entire month to be able to get all that done for one design before you can move to the next design. So you obviously need to come into this knowing fully that you're going to be wearing all the hats, but at the same time, it's also fine for you to outsource those and distribute those responsibilities to different people who are willing to help you out and also ask for help. Because at the end of the day, you can build a brand by your own, but imagine building a brand with a group of people together, with a community. Like, you have your own entire small community, and it doesn't have to be a big scale or a big community. I personally, for one, I my goal is to have five group of people that I work with, that we work together, and then we build my brand together. That's honestly my goal, and I cannot wait to be able to just find those people and put them in my team. That's honestly one of my biggest goals as well. So with all these points being made, this brings us to the end of this video. I have so many other points that I can actually list and things that I've learned so far. Let me know if you guys want a part 2. Super excited to share more things that I've learned along the process. If you are a crochet designer and you've been doing this for a while, and there's so many things you've learned as well that I did not mention in this video, please leave them down in the comments so we can have conversations and we can learn from each other as well. if you are thinking about starting and this video was helpful, if you have any questions, obviously, from all the things that I already spoke about in this video, leave them down in the comment and I'll make time to answer your questions. Let me also know if you guys love those chit chat conversations, because I feel like I've been giving you guys tutorial back to back, but I also need to bump those tutorials with chit chat so we can get to know each other on the very personal level as well. So let me know if you guys enjoy videos like this. If you like, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next video. I appreciate you, I love you, and I'll see you. Bye bye.